Today we got two very powerful teams going head to head. The Phoenix 5 versus the Sinestro Corps. Who wins? Well, let's find out. The Phoenix 5 are 5 members of the X-Men, consisting of Cyclops, Emma Frost, Magik, Namor, and Colossus, who each received a portion of the Phoenix Force after it was accidentally split by Iron Man during the battle between the X-Men and the Avengers over Hope. When Namor the Submariner gained possession of his part of the Phoenix Force, he was granted a ton of new powers, including vast telekinetic and telepathic powers. He was able to use the Phoenix energy to set people on fire, project energy blasts, and he also gained the abilities of hydrokinesis, managing to drop a massive tidal wave on the country of Wakanda. His strength and durability also massively increased, as he was able to rip the Red Hulk's arm off by the finger of absolute ease, and he wasn't even slowed down by the Avengers' best shots. Colossus also gained increased strength and durability when he became possessed by the Phoenix Force, as he was easily able to subdue Gladiator without taking any damage, and him and his sister Magik easily dispatched Thor. He also gained the abilities of cosmic pyrokinesis, interstellar travel, telepathy, telekinesis, and temporal manipulation, which are powers that all Phoenix hosts gain. Colossus' sister Magik was also possessed by the Phoenix Force, and like everyone else, gained strength and durability to where she could easily take down Captain Marvel and even Thor. Magik spent time in Limbo, where she learned tons of different magical abilities, and her soul was actually replaced with black magic. Her connection to Limbo actually grew as she was possessed by the Phoenix Force, to the point where she brought a portion of Limbo to the Earth to use as a prison that held most all the Avengers. On top of that, Magik's magic is essentially limitless while she is inside of Limbo. While in possession of the Phoenix, Emma Frost gained the ability to set enemies on fire, project energy blast, and her telepathic powers increased so much that she could reach every person on Earth. She is essentially invulnerable, as X-23's adamantium claws couldn't cut through her, and she was even able to fight and defeat Thor little to no difficulty in a solely physical fight. Perhaps her most unique ability, though, is the fact that if her body is destroyed or her diamond form shattered, although it's more likely that she simply chose to shatter herself, she has conscious control over all her fragments and can rain them down on enemies and then reform herself, showing that Emma might actually be unkillable when her diamond form is combined with the Phoenix. Then last but certainly not least, we've got Cyclops. Scott gained complete control over his optic blast, and actually greatly increased in power as well, to the point where one blast took down several Avengers. He was struggling to easily defeat Gladiator, and was even able to stop Thor's swing of Mjolnir with just one strike. Now the Phoenix 5 do have some weaknesses, although it's mainly just Scarlet Witch's Chaos Magic and Iron Fist Chi power. Then in the corner of the Sinestro Corps. The Sinestro Corps is a mirror organization of the Green Lantern Corps, and is considered to be its evil equivalent. Its members are chosen from those who can instill great fear, and are given Quarian yellow power rings. Now, since the Phoenix 5 only appeared in one storyline, I think it's fair that we take villains from just one storyline as well, the Sinestro Corps War. So we got Sinestro, Parallax, Anti-Monitor, Cyborg Superman, and Superboy Prime. But for people like Superboy, Anti-Monitor, and Parallax, we'll only use feats from the Sinestro Corps War storyline. As the name might imply, Sinestro is the leader and founder of the Sinestro Corps, and is the creator of the Yellow Ring as well. He's quite powerful with it. He's taken down and beaten countless Green Lanterns, and as long as he instills fear within his opponent, he can do or make essentially anything with the ring. Parallax is the living embodiment of fear, and during the Sinestro Corps storyline, it possessed the Green Lantern Kal Rayner. Parallax was able to regularly fight against and beat Hal Jordan, and even the Lost Lanterns all at once, managing to kill several of them. Parallax also showed that he can take on several hosts at the same time, like when it absorbed both Kal Rayner and Hal Jordan, and became much more powerful than before. Anti-Monitor is the Monitor's counterpart from the Antimatter universe, and served as the sole guardian of the Sinestro Corps. He recruited Superboy Prime and Cyborg Superman, alongside Sinestro and Parallax, to serve as his heralds in an attempt to destroy the Earth and the positive matter universe. Anti-Monitor easily held his own against the Guardians of the Universe all by himself, and he even survived a galaxy-destroying explosion, although he was severely weakened by it. Cyborg Superman has all the same powers as Superman, except for freeze breath because he doesn't have lungs, and he was even able to remove his weakness to kryptonite. He's also got an ability called technomorphing, where he doesn't just command tech, but actually incorporates it into himself, and any nearby tech becomes an extension of himself. And while he usually relies on his Kryptonian powers, Hank Henshaw has also proven himself quite capable with a Sinestro ring. And last, but definitely not least, we've got Superboy Prime, or as he becomes in this arc, Superman Prime. Prime has been confirmed to kill more Lanterns than even Parallax Hal, and took on the heroes of Earth all by himself. He fought against and beat Ion, the Green Lantern Corps' greatest weapon, and even went on to battle against the heroes of Earth, the Green Lantern Corps, the Sinestro Corps, and the Guardians all by himself. He survived the galaxy-destroying blast alongside Anti-Monitor, and even went on to rip apart and tear a weakened Anti-Monitor to pieces, throwing him to the edges of the universe as revenge for destroying his world. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, if you skipped the intros and just went right into the fight breakdown, let me do a little rehash. Since the Phoenix 5 only appeared in one major storyline, we're just going to be taking the Sinestro Corps feats from the Sinestro Corps War storyline. And since there are just 5 for the Phoenix 5, we'll be using Sinestro, Parallax, Anti-Monitor, Cyborg Superman, and Superboy Prime for the Sinestro Corps, not the whole Corps itself. And so let me just be real clear, we're not using feats for Infinite Crisis Superboy, Crisis on Infinite Earth's Anti-Monitor, or Zero Hour or Hal Jordan Parallax. Just what we saw from them in the Sinestro Corps War. So with that being said, let's get started. Now right out of the gate, Sinestro's done. He's out of this fight basically before the fight even begins. Because while as impressive and powerful a Lantern as Sinestro is, he's just out of his league going up against the Phoenix Force, or even one of the Phoenix 5. You could make a very solid argument that Sinestro is on the same level as Thor, and you can even make a strong case that Thor is more powerful than the Fallen Lantern. That's relevant because basically every member of the Phoenix 5 was able to defeat the God of Thunder. Emma Frost made it look easy as she beat Thor, as did Cyclops. Although I don't remember Namor ever going straight up against Thor, he showed comparable stuff by fighting against an Avengers team all by himself, and even the weakest members of the 5, Colossus and Magic, took down the God of Thunder. Now, yes, Spider-Man did survive against an onslaught from both Colossus and Magic, but that doesn't mean that Sinestro will. You see, there's this thing called plot-induced stupidity, where something has to happen just because the plot demands it. Spider-Man surviving against 2 of the Phoenix 5 is one of those things, because right after that, Peter was able to get Colossus and Magic to fighting against each other, and that was necessary for the plot and story to advance. The way to see past plot-induced stupidity is to look at these characters' feats overall, and judge them based on that. This helps to identify any unnaturally low showings, and since Colossus and Magic beat Thor, and Colossus actually already beat Spider-Man earlier in the story when he didn't even have the Phoenix power, it's safe to say that this one showing is incredibly low and not really fair. Basically, all of this to say that Sinestro can't hold up to the Phoenix 5. And I would actually say the same for Cyborg Superman. Just like with Sinestro, you can make a solid argument that he is around the same level as Thor, or at the very least, he's less powerful than all the Avengers. The Phoenix 5 had taken on and beaten all the Avengers, sometimes just one of them against the team, and so Cyborg Superman is out of the fight too. It also doesn't help that Henshaw tends to rely more on his physical powers than his Sinestro rings. So that really just makes it the Phoenix 5 versus Anti-Monitor, Superboy Prime, and Parallax. But man, what a powerful trio that is. Now let's first talk about Parallax, because this fear entity has been insanely powerful throughout the years. I mean, it's battled against the Spectre before, and made the Spectre feel fear, and destroyed pretty much the entire Green Lantern Corps. But we're not talking about 0 Hour Parallax. This is Kyle Rayner as Parallax. And really, it's one of the weakest iterations we've seen. I mean, this guy isn't a universal level threat. He's basically more of an amped up Green Lantern here. We really only saw Parallax take on multiple Green Lanterns at the same time. And while he did really well against them, it's not enough to suggest that he'll survive an encounter with the Phoenix Five. At least, not all of them at the same time. I would actually say that Parallax would be able to go up against some weaker members of the Phoenix Five, like Colossus and Magic. But see, if Colossus and Magic, or really any member of the Phoenix Five, are taken out of the fight, it doesn't actually weaken the Phoenix Five. Because the way the Phoenix Five works is that if one member goes down, their portion of the Phoenix is transferred to other members, until one person remains, and that person becomes Dark Phoenix. So, like it or not, the Sinestro Corps will eventually have to take on Dark Phoenix, whether they want to or not. Their only real option is to take down all the Phoenix Five at the same time, but I don't see that happening at all. So Parallax would probably take down Colossus or Magic, but I really want to focus on Superboy Prime and then the Anti-Monitor here. Those are the true powerhouses on the Sinestro Corps team, and will pose the biggest challenge and threat to the Phoenix Five. However, both of these guys aren't at the strongest we've ever seen them. Anti-Monitor is a weakened form of himself, and really relies on his armor, while Superboy needs to be exposed to the sun, so in his fight with all the heroes of Earth, he was weakened, and actually hurt by their attacks. But man, these villains are still powerful. Superboy did indeed take on all the heroes of Earth by himself, beat Ion, and even went on to fight against the heroes in both corps by himself. He survived a galaxy-destroying attack, and the only thing that beat him was a Guardian committing suicide and literally blowing up right in front of him. And even that didn't fully put him down forever. In terms of pure physical feats, that's more impressive than what we've seen from the Phoenix Five, even Phoenix Cyclops with the full Phoenix Force. I mean, Cyclops was taking on the Avengers and the X-Men, releasing natural disasters all around the world at the same time. But he wasn't actually doing any more than knocking out our heroes, and he also wasn't taking on as many as Superboy Prime. But the Phoenix Five don't have to rely on a solely hand-to-hand fight. The Phoenix Force is also one of the most powerful telepathic entities in the Marvel Universe. I mean, take someone like Emma Frost. She's a powerful telepath already. With the Phoenix Force on her side, she's got an exponential amount of power. Superboy Prime doesn't really have a significant defense against telepathic attacks. But even if he is taken out by that, more than likely, he'll be able to rip through several members of the Phoenix Five before he's actually taken down. I mean, he ripped through the Anti-Monitor, he can rip through the Phoenix Five. And then we do have the Anti-Monitor. This is one of the weaker versions of the character, and if this was the Jean Grey Phoenix, then I have to back Phoenix in this fight. But just like this Anti-Monitor is one of the weaker versions, the Phoenix Five are actually one of the weaker iterations of the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force itself is a multiversal level entity, but its hosts are rarely ever as powerful as the actual Force itself. And even Cyclops with the whole of the Phoenix Force was only battling against the Avengers and the X-Men, not multiversal beings like the Anti-Monitor. Anti-Monitor easily took on the Guardians of the Universe, and even survived a galaxy-destroying attack, which is more powerful than what we've seen from the Phoenix Five. Anti-Monitor is definitely the Sinestro Corps' MVP, and will lead them to victory, especially Superboy Prime flying around and trying to wreak as much havoc as possible. The Sinestro Corps is pulling this one out. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button, more videos just as one every single day, and I'll see you next time.